The orange sunset casted long shadows across the gothic halls of St. George's School for Girls, a private institution steeped in renowned education, culture, and the scent of ancient codices. All the girls were expected to wear the school's brown and checkered uniform from dawn till dusk. But within a pristine and cozy dormitory resided a duo of British schoolgirls who wore the uniform not just for school, but also for their amateur secret detective club just for them. The planner named Emily, a brunette with short hair and brown meticulous eyes, sat at her desk. Having just completed a history assignment for Professor Holloway, Emily set her pen down and stretched her arms upward. She put away her schoolwork and pulled out a worn leather-bound journal, her casebook. Her latest case was that of a teacup from the common room which went missing yesterday. Meanwhile, the intuitive of the two named Catherine, a blonde with low twin tails and bright blue eyes, laid on her bed with her feet up, sketching fanciful designs for a jewel-encrusted chalice on a loose leaf. Catherine had become interested in the whispered legend that circulated among her classmates in Professor Holloway's history class. A tale of an Arthurian artifact, hidden somewhere deep within the school's ancient foundation. Emily got up from her desk and was about to exit the room when she noticed Catherine's sketches. "Those look nice," said Emily. "Thank you," said Catherine, smiling. Emily disregarded the legend as childish, but Catherine's childlike fancy had been making her think otherwise. It made a smile curl on Emily's lips. She couldn't say no, not to her best friend. As soon as Emily left the room, Catherine continued her sketching. She imagined this chalice having a metallic sheen and intricate patterns. If she had any Cumberland-colored pencils, the chalice itself could be polished yellow brass, the jewels green emeralds, blue sapphires, red rubies, or purple amethysts. Alas, she would have to settle for the chalice being silver and the jewels as diamonds. A moment later, Emily walked back into the room. "I found the missing teacup," she said. "It was in Madeline's dormitory, sitting on her nightstand." "She must have forgotten to put it away," Catherine suggested. "Perhaps." Emily opened her casebook and wrote down the latest update. The case of the missing teacup was closed. It was almost supper time. Seeing that Catherine was still interested in the legendary artifact, Emily sat on her bed across from Catherine's. "So what about this Arthurian artifact?" Emily asked. Catherine's eyes brightened. She put down her pencil and sat up on her bed. "Well," Catherine said, "they say the relic was brought to England by a forgotten noble who's supposedly interred beneath the school's oldest wing. You know, where strange flickering lights were seen late at night from the laundry room. Where the cleaning staff heard faint chanting sounds near the disused boiler room. And a draft emanating from a sealed-off corridor in the deepest part of the cellar?" Catherine hoped that at least one of those hooks would get Emily to nod and agree, or at least smile, but Emily remained silent as she pondered with a hand to her chin. Catherine believed she had asked too much, so she then asked simply, "Isn't a good mystery about following the trail, no matter how faint?" Despite the skepticisms, Emily gave a slight nod. "I'll tell you what," she said. "After supper, we'll go to the library and look at some archives of the oldest wing. Would you like that?" "Sure," Catherine nodded, her twin tails bouncing. Supper served just as the sun went down and candles lit up. Tonight's supper consisted of minced beef with carrots and thick gravy, accompanied by boiled cabbage. And then followed by the afters. Eve's pudding was one of Catherine's many favorites. After supper, the girls left the conversational dining hall and entered the muted yet tranquil library. What they were looking for could be found under architecture and school history with the help of the librarian. Once they found sources that would suffice, They laid out their findings on a desk under an emeraldite lamp. When cross-referencing the school's archived blueprints with historical records of the property, Emily discovered an anomaly. Adjacent to the laundry room was a section of the basement that appeared on no modern map, only in faded, hand-drawn plans from the 17th century. It was marked simply as sublevels. Emily pieced together the clues. The unmapped section, along with the rumors of lights, sounds, and drafts, all pointed to a hidden passage or chamber beneath the school. The idea of an Arthurian artifact felt tantalizingly plausible. All that was needed now was a noble epitaph somewhere within the basement. Under the cloak of a moonless night, still in their school uniforms, Emily and Catherine stepped lightly out of their dormitory. Each of them carried a small flashlight, ever prepared for the unexpected, making sure they didn't get caught. They navigated the halls to the oldest wing. The door to the laundry room was unlocked. Emily presumed somebody had to have used it. The laundry room laid vacant, cold irons resting on wooden tables layered with white sheets. The door leading to the basement was just on the other side of the room. "Come on," Emily whispered. Catherine followed behind her to the basement door. It was closed, but turning it slowly indicated it was unlocked. The door opened carefully to reveal a pitch-black flight of stairs leading to the school's basement. Their flashlights penetrated the darkness. With each step, the air grew colder and heavier. Catherine looked back to see the door to the laundry room getting smaller as she and Emily descended. The basement was a labyrinth of corridors emanating a scent of damp earth and forgotten history. Emily and Catherine found the disused boiler room and entered. Dust motes danced in the beam of the girls' flashlights, illuminating like tiny spirits in the stagnant air. Emily adjusted her beret, her flashlight focusing on the brick walls. "Now, there should be a name interred here somewhere," Emily said softly. Catherine leaned over Emily's shoulder, her twin tails brushing against her checkered blazer. "Do you feel a draft?" she asked, and then pointed her flashlight to a pile of old coal sacks and the old boiler. "I feel it from over there." The girls approached the boiler, cold to the touch due to its fires being dead for centuries. There was a name on the boiler. It read Paxman. Not a knight of the round table. Neither a noble. "Emily, look over here," whispered Catherine. Catherine pointed her flashlight to the wall behind the boiler. Etched on the wall was a name. Joseph. "Joseph of Arimathea," said Catherine softly, but enthusiastic. "I think this is it." Emily approached the wall. Despite her skeptical composure, she was secretly stunned. Her flashlight followed diverging seams in the wall just below the name. Both seams spread out and led to the floor. Like a door. There was a draft coming from the seams. There had to be something on the other side. Assuming where the doorknob would be, Emily found a brick that was colored differently. She reached out with her hand, pushing the brick into the wall. Click. The wall didn't just move. Like a door, it swung wide to reveal a passage. Emily's mind boggled to comprehend what would be the distance from the dormitories to whatever was down the passage. But Catherine grabbed her hand. "Come on," she said. "Let's see what's down there." Catherine took the lead this time. She and Emily made their way down the rough-hewn limestone tunnel. Not at all part of the school's usual architecture. Their hearts pounded with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. As they ventured deeper, the tunnel opened into a large subterranean space, dimly lit by the light of torches. A hushed murmur of voices reached the girls. They turned off their flashlights. Treading lightly, they stumbled upon a scene that made their blood run cold. A dozen figures greeted each other in a semicircle, draped in heavy black hoods that obscured their faces, but not their long hair. They were unmistakably girls, their movements betraying their youth despite the concealing robes. They stood before a monolithic structure which looked like a small temple. Before Catherine and Emily could retreat, strong hands seized them by their arms with unsettling speed. Just as either of them screamed, heavy sacks dropped over each of their heads, smelling of lavender and old wool. Their flashlights clattered to the ground as they were carried away into momentary darkness. When the hoods were yanked away, the girls found themselves sitting in wooden chairs within a stone chamber. The air was thick with the smell of damp stone and something vaguely herbal, the only source of light being a torch on the wall behind them. Before Emily could comprehend what was happening, brown rope dug into her wrists behind her back. From behind, a hooded girl wrapped a white cloth over Emily's mouth, silencing her before she could say anything. Catherine sat beside Emily. She was bound and gagged too. The hooded girls then retreated from the chamber, leaving Emily and Catherine alone in silence. Once the wooden door was closed and locked, the hooded girls conversed among themselves on what to do with their prisoners. Emily tried to listen in, but the overlapping whispers along with her crescendoing heartbeat made it impossible to isolate a single voice. She tried to wiggle her hands and body, but the ropes around her arms and legs were tied ever so tightly. She couldn't feel her hands, nor distinguish what herbal scent lingered in this chamber. And on top of all of that, she did not know what awaited her and Catherine. She wanted to scream for help, but her protests were muffled. Her mind raced to make sense of the situation, straining her usual calm. A cold dread began to seep in, making her eyes widen and breathing frantic. But then, Catherine's foot nudged Emily's boot. Emily. The white rag over Catherine's mouth didn't stop her from humming Emily's name. Emily turned her head and looked at her. Catherine wasn't panicking. Even though her usual buoyancy was rocked by the reality of their predicament, her blue eyes conveyed an honest, reassuring message to Emily. She took a deep breath through her nose, her chest slowly moving up and down with each inhale and exhale. Emily followed Catherine's breathing, and in time, her heart calmed and steadied. Both girls then recognized the herbal scent in the air. Chamomile. Catherine's eyes pointed to the base of Emily's chair. Emily followed her gaze. The rear leg of her seat was canted at an odd angle, the wood splintered where it met the frame. Catherine began to rock her own weight, forward and back, the vibration traveling through their shared floor space, a rhythmic signal. Shift forward. Pull back. Emily leaned hard against the weak joint. The wood groaned, and with a sharp snap, the chair leg gave way. Hopefully, it was lost under the hushed argument of their captors. Emily slumped, her center of gravity shifting, allowing her bound hands to slip over the jagged wood. She worked the rope against the splintered edge. Her wrists then burst free. After Emily loosened her bonds and pulled off her gag, she soothed her wrists of any pain, and then undid Catherine's knots. Once she was free, Catherine got up and removed the rag from her mouth, revealing a reassuring smile on her lips to Emily. But there was no time to celebrate. "The door is bolted from the outside," Catherine said in a low, neutral voice. Emily noticed the faint glow of the light of torches from under the door. The hooded girls were still nearby, debating their fate. She looked around every inch of the chamber for any inconsistency, but there was nothing out of the ordinary. Emily sighed. "Catherine, I'm sorry. I led us right into—" "Stop it," Catherine interrupted, grabbing Emily's hand. Her grip was warm and grounding. "We're not done for. We just need to figure out our next move." Before Emily could say she had no idea this could have happened, the wooden door unlocked and groaned open. The leader of the hooded girls stepped inside, the torchlight casting a long, intimidating shadow across the stone floor. The leader appeared to be an adult woman. She stopped, seeing the girls standing free of their bonds. Her lips curled. She chuckled beneath her hood. "Well done, young ladies. Truly impressive." The leader pulled back her hood, revealing the intelligent but amused face of Professor Holloway, their history professor. Emily and Catherine stared, mouths open. Professor Holloway, her eyes twinkling, offered a wry smile. "I was told we had intruders, but I never expected them to be you too." She turned to the other hooded girls, who also pulled back their hoods, revealing the faces of prefects and classmates. Professor Holloway then turned back to the girls. "I apologize for our group being rough with you too. We only mean to keep our society a secret." "Society?" asked Catherine. "Yes, the Order of the Whispering Stone, the school's secret society, where young girls can relax and be themselves, stay up after lights out and not wear the school uniform, and where we drink from the Holy Grail." At the mention of the Holy Grail, Emily's brow raised, but Catherine's eyes brightened. Professor Holloway gestured them to follow her. They were led into the main cavern, which now seemed less sinister and more like a cozy, if unusual, meeting space. Torches on the wall illuminated ancient tapestries depicting mythical beasts and heraldic symbols. The roof of the cavern had holes in which sunlight could beam through during the day. In the center of a semicircle of unhooded girls, Professor Holloway opened the monolithic reliquary. From it, she retrieved a chalice carved out of wood. "This is the Holy Grail." Emily and Catherine blinked, processing this revelation. The society, Professor Holloway explained, was dedicated to preserving this centuries-old wooden drinking cup, a symbol of fellowship and the simple joys of discovery, rather than some magical jewel-studded relic. And the new wine drank from it symbolized the thirst for new knowledge, the sweetness of truth, and the effectiveness of such simple traditions. "Your curiosity led you to here. It can lead to dangerous places, yes, but never let anyone tell you not to be curious." An unhooded girl poured dark purple grape juice into the chalice. Before offering it first to Emily, Professor Holloway said, "As long as you two are together, your bond will prove your resilience." Emily sipped from the cup. The grape juice was cool and sweet, a surprising comfort after such a distressing ordeal. Emily gave a slight smile as she gave the cup to Catherine. She too sipped from the cup and lit up with pure delight. The unhooded girls and Professor Holloway clapped. This simple act initiated them as members of the Order of the Whispering Stone. Before leaving, Professor Holloway gave them her warm smile and stated, "As a reward for your resilience and initiation, you'll both receive a substantial amount of extra credit on your upcoming history exam." It was past midnight when Emily and Catherine made it back to their dorm room undetected. Their uniforms rumpled, but spirits high. The school, which had seemed so familiar, now held a new layer of hidden meaning. Back in their room, Emily meticulously recorded the night's events in her casebook, adding a new, utterly bizarre chapter. Catherine, meanwhile, was preparing for bed. "Well," Catherine said, "that was certainly an odd one." Emily closed her journal, a thoughtful expression on her face. "Indeed," she replied, "but a mystery solved nonetheless." Just as Emily began preparing for bed, she said, Catherine. Yes, Emily, she asked. Thank you, Emily smiled, for being with me. You as well, Catherine said, smiling back. They exchanged a knowing look, a shared secret that bonded them even closer. School would start again in the early morning as per usual, but for these schoolgirls, they learned that some of the greatest adventures lie not in grand quests, but in the quiet whispers beneath the stone, and the unexpected friendships forged in the pursuit of truth. Even if that truth was a wooden chalice of grape juice.